Hi, I'm David Lisot. It's June 1st, 2016. I'm here with John Highfill, founder of the National Silver Dollar Roundtable. How about some more stories about your coin business?
It's not just the 80s. Well, I've been doing coins, this is 2016, going on 2017. So, but things have changed. Again, I mentioned TV has taken a big step. I mean, it was nothing about 10 years ago. Now it's everywhere, auction houses, you can't find the coins you want anymore. Like I mentioned somebody that's having some health issues right now, and I like to pray for him, number one, and make sure he does well. But Mike Bob, he's done a really good job.
Who?
Mike Bob. Okay. Mike Bob, okay. Son Sean Bob. Sean Bob's got the business. I think when Mike passes on, if and when he is, might be 100 years from now, I don't know, but then Sean will be taking over the business. But right now, he's put together some really magnificent sets with some collectors. Now PCGS and NGC both have these big sets, what do they call them? Registry sets, yeah. Okay. And they are. And they've come a long way from the John Highfill and the Jack Lee and the Lloyd Gabbeth and others. They've gone a long way because you know what? Guess what? Some of my coins are richer on that set, I guarantee you, some of these registry sets. Because at one time, I owned all three 93S's and 5. I owned virtually the highest coin there was. And when 81 S's and 68, there was 3 or 4 of them. I mentioned there's more of them now. I wouldn't buy them, but I did. But anyway, I think it's 3 of those. I had everything. Back in the late 70s to early 80s, I'd grown to 28 employees, and I was doing the conventions. And when I had one person doing advertising, Cornwell, Numismatic News, and everything. That was back whenever there wasn't PCGS or NGC and stuff like that, and I was doing everything. I was doing gold, I was doing cougar hands and silver. As a matter of fact, I guess it was in 82, 3, and 4. I did about 3.5 million silver rounds through Sunshine Mint. I did my own rounds. Again, I researched it that you couldn't have anything that, I had replicas of Morgan and Peach dollars, but you couldn't have anything just like that. You had to have a different size and weight, so the weight was different, the purity was different, and the circumference was different. It's 39 millimeter. So therefore I made those, and they were a very big success. I sold quite a few million of those. Then again, at the time when I had 28 employees, after a while, I realized that they were non-functional as far as making money is concerned. So I kept whittling down, and this one guy worked for me, and he ran a bank and the post office errands, took out the trash and this, that, and the other, and I was paying $38,000 a year. And he's a good guy, a really good guy. But when you take the workman's comp, the hospitalization, this, and the other, and you guys paying $55,000 a year. So when he decided he's going to leave, I said to myself, I can make $55,000 a year if I don't hire somebody back. I'll just take out the trash and go make a post office. So I started making $55,000 a year, which is a good job, So I'm paying myself. So as every person dropped out, I started picking up more on my shoulders and ended up to be pretty independent, kind of doing pretty well all I needed to do by myself. Well, I had up to 5 or 6 people until about 5 or 6 years ago. And now I'm kind of, getting into the golden years and trying to go out the back door as slowly as possible. But I'm still doing kind of much business I want to do,
Tell me the story about coin dealer Martin Paul.
So Martin Paul is one of these rocket scientist genius that had a brain bigger than mine, better than mine. He had different things that made him different than me, but he knew the gray sheet like Walter Breen knew his encyclopedia. He went to all the auctions and he would just wait for someone to make a mistake, and he did buy anything and everything. Really smart guy. He dealt in thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. So anyway, it was 1989, I guess, and the market had crashed. So he was at a dinner at one of the ANAs, I forget where it was, maybe Portland. No, I think Portland was 1990, that's when the second story came to. And he says, he's over there complaining at the table. And me and Martin always got along. We were one of those kind of like guys you punch each other in the arm, keep on going, say little innuendos, cut each other down. We know we're both joking all the time. We're just that kind of friends. So I said, he's already complaining. He said he sold $4 million worth of coins and he lost $1.8 million. He's just complaining. I said something about this, that, and the other to him. I told him, sorry. Move forward, next year. I think we're Portland, matter of fact, and we're at dinner. It's at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse or something like that. And he's over there with 4 or 5 other guys. He's already talking, and Martin's complaining, He said, for $4.5 million worth of sales. He made 380,000. He's just really, no, he made 38,000. Just bitching, complaining. I said, Martin, what do you want, Highfill? I said, sounds to me like you had a good show. Blank you, Highfill. I said, Martin, you had a good show. Blank you, Highfill. He was being nice. He did that all the time to me. It's just kind of a barb that we got going. So I said, well, it seems like that last year you lost like $1.5–2 million. Right. And this year you made $38,000. Sounded like me like you had a wonderful show. Thank you, Highfill. He walks out. He throws his fork down his steak. He walks out. But he didn't see the picture on the wall. The picture on the wall, he really did.
Sure.
The bad mark is over with. It's coming back, And meanwhile, he's almost passed on now. He's a good man, though.
Tell me about your involvement in the Carson City coin market.
Now, as far as CC is concerned, I used to just own the CC market, GSAs. As a matter of fact, at this point in time, I keep it quiet, but I keep a couple of hundred of 82s, 83s, and 84s of stock still today, because I need them at all times. And every once in a while, I run 85 CCs. But Cirque CCs sell like water. Everybody likes the CC. Carson City is just like the number one thing that will always sell. You can put back coins or carry an inventory. There's certain coins, half dimes or dimes and stuff like this, and they sell every so often. These things sell daily. I like to stay with the stuff that's fast and moving stuff. You get caught in down markets. All the CCs, we get these plastic Nevada things and put CCs and make those up and sell them as sets. They do very well. So there's a magic in the CC. Anyway, not plugging my book, but in the new ebook, you'll find out all this information on CCs in every chapter.
John, you have a great story about grading modern coins and your involvement with PCGS. Tell me the story.
1986, they came out with the Silver Eagle, and it meant promoted as the new silver dollar. And it still today says silver dollar. And guess what? In this new one we got a chapter saying Silver Eagles are silver dollars. Get over it. You understand? They are silver dollars. They're not like the 1878S to 1921 Morgans, but they are silver dollars. And they're not collected with valor, but you got to remember, 1878, nobody liked the silver dollar in 1878 either.
Right.
They didn't like the Peace Star in 21. They didn't like it. Nobody likes it when it first came out. Well, Sacagawea, nobody still likes it. Eisenhower dollars were a bust. They are. So, but there's still the Silver Eagles. So people buying them as a bullion coins. They sell as bullion coins. I don't really think there's a price guide on Silver Eagles. There may, there is. There's a price guide. Matter of fact, 96s are like $42. Come think of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess there is. I'm sorry because I don't collect them. But anyway, so I get in 5 of the green boxes. So I send them to David Hall. He calls up and says, "What are you doing, John?" I says, "I need to get them graded." We don't grade modern issue coins. It's not a modern issue. I said, "Yeah, it's a silver dollar, Dave." No, it's not. It's 39 millimeters. It's not the same size as a silver dollar. Our dies and our holders are for this. I'd have to make a new holder for this, ship them back to me. I don't get mad too often, but I get pissed off. A lot of money back and forth and this, that, and the other. I bought him for this, so I called him back up and said, "David, how much does die cost?" He told me X price. I says, "You can make $10 a coin on this," or something like that at the time. And I'm giving you said 2,500, so 2,500 times, that's 25,000. Can't you make a die? John, we will never, ever sell modern issue coins. Never, ever sell modern issue coins. 90% of coins graded now by PCGS and NGC are modern issue coins. Yes. If he hadn't have done that, because he did end up doing it, okay? If he hadn't done that, the grading service would be out of business right now. Do you understand that? That was a big crack in the dam in 1986, okay? That's one of my accolades. I didn't do it because I'm a rocket scientist, a genius, that I invented the first modern issue coin. It just happened that way. It kind of like Columbus discovered America by accident or something. I don't think he did. Anyway, so he graded them, and the first MS-70 coin ever graded, PCGS or otherwise, was there. And David had it, and he advertised it in the Wall Street Journals, and the Wall Street Journal is documented. And then he sent them all back to me. I sold a guy named Joe Folsom up here in Oklahoma for like $5,000. And I felt really bad because I thought he buried it. I think the coin's sold here lately for like $200,000 or $300,000 because it's the first coin ever, first MS-70 coin. And me and David go back a long way. I mean, when we founded our Silver Dollar Roundtable, he helped me with seminars. He did a lot of seminars. He still does seminars, and he's gone a long way with PCGS, and I congratulate the guy. That's back in the Elvis Presley jacket. Another story. I give him my Elvis Presley jacket that I bought from Dwight Family for $5,000 and sent it to him. He said, "What do you want for it?" I said, "I want $10,000." He said, "I ain't buying that." I changed subjects, by the way. And he said, I said, "Why aren't you buying that?" He says, "Because I'm not paying $10,000 for this." I said, "Then send it back." And he lost weight. He wasn't married at the time. He says, "I look, I've got this girl on date, and I want to look cool and everything. So why don't you let me learn it?" I said, "Oh, keep it for a year." About 3 years went by, and I thought, David's got my jacket.
Where's my jacket? Yeah.
So I called up David. I said, "Where's my jacket?" He says, "Oh, yeah, I still got it." I said, "You're supposed to pay me $10,000 a year or else." He says, "Well, no, it's not worth $10,000. I said, "No, it's not. $10,000 2 years ago. You owe me $30,000 now."
Yeah.
So I threatened him, and I said, "Send me $30,000. He sent me $15,000 and kept the jacket. I guess it's worth a couple $1 million now. Yeah, it had white sweat here. I guess the DNA is worth a lot of money,
You did sell a coin for over $1 million. Tell me the story of the $50 Humbert gold piece.
Well, I had an investor or buyer that was selling or whatever it is, and he was looking for very high, expensive coins, the highest you can get. So Mark Yeffy called me up, and at the time he says, "We got this coin that's worth $1 million." I said, "I've never heard of a coin worth $1 million." He says, "Yeah, it's an 1882 over 51 Augustus Humbert private owned proof of just one coin. Okay, it's his personal coin." So he said, "We want $1.4 million out of it." Now he said he wants I want to make 10%. I make 10% on everything. So $1 million, you make $100,000. That don't happen very often, by the way. So anyway, whatever it was, but it turned out the price of $1.4 million. So I shipped it to him, and he sent me $1.1 million, and he owed me the $300,000, and I never got that. So it ended up selling for $1.1 million, really, real money that came in, and we had to pay Silvertown like $700,000 to take care of it. But that's the first $1 million coin that was ever sold. And it's just sold here recently within the last year, 2015, 2016, for over $1 million again. Because it got down and people, "Nah, that ain't right, that's too high." Well, guess what? Every coin's too high later, until it's all over said and done. But anyway, it sold for like $1.2 million or $1.3 million here again. But they've had many $1 million coins since then. So I guess those little claims to fame. Again, that was an accident. I wasn't trying to set a record.
Tell me some stories about the National Silver Dollar Roundtable banquets.
Oh, you want to have the National Silver Dollar Roundtable banquets? We had told you before, we had Three Dog Night. We had the Grassroots Association, stuff like that. We set a record that's still held today accidentally. It's not held by us. It's held by St. Louis Cardinals. But we rented buses to take everybody to the Roundtable to the Cardinals game and went there and ended up going 18 innings. And they ran out of pitchers, and Okada was a utility guy, ended up pitching 4 innings at the end, and the Cardinals ended up losing like 4-3 or something like that. Anyway, the buses were trying to leave on me, and I went out there and pulled one of those "Don't you leave." I paid for this, but we didn't sign up for this. I didn't either.
Yeah, right.
I got 400, 500 people in here that got to get back to their hotels, So they all got disgruntled. I gave them all, I don't know, back then probably a $50 tip or something like that to stay around. But that was a pretty good deal. Also the riverboat there, we did the riverboat on Roundtable. We had dinner on there. In St. Louis, the guys, most of them came over to gamble anyway. But we've done quite a few different things at the Roundtable. We always had a banquet either at Ruth Chris Steakhouse or something like that. Al Johnbriar at the time was pretty well in charge of getting all of our Roundtable dinners lined up at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. He had to end with those. And now he's kind of like, pulled away from the Roundtable a little bit through the years. And Doug Sharp now is taking care of setting up our banquet dates and stuff like that. And we got our website, someone started a website just like, like you started up, get started. And then I took it over from there, and we built a very big website now.
Did you ever get into paper money?
No, I never did that. Harlan White did that. Harlan, a good friend of mine. He would buy $500 bills. He'd sell them for $550. Buy $500, sell them for $550. They were roughed up. He'd buy them for $4.95. Don't laugh. He'd buy them for $4.95 and sell them for $5.05, make $10. And his other paper money guy says, "Harlan, you're holding the price down. These things are worth $600. You keep selling $550. I can't raise my price to $600." Says, "I'm not in charge of your store." You know.
Buy mine.
I liked his theory.
Buy mine.
Yeah, he had this thing though. When people walk up to him, he'd quote a price. He had everything from diamond rings and emerald rings to silver dollars to currency and stuff like that. They say, "How much is it?" Says, "I can give you one price only. It's a one-step offer." You know what it says? Well, this item, wherever it is, he's going to sell, is $500. It's a one-step offer. What's a one-step offer? It says you take one step away from here, and price goes up. And he did it all his life. And a guy walked out, and he'd come back and he said, "I'll take that $500. $550. No, it's $5. I told you one-step offer. It's still one-step offer at $550. Yeah. I've seen more than one time the guy would pay the $550 rather than take another step away too. You know, but he lost a lot of sales that way too. In all honesty, he's a great guy.
Harlan was a great guy.
He was a wonderful man.
Old Coin Shop, San Diego.
San Diego, old coin shop.
I understand Leon Hendrickson was your friend?
Of course, Leon Hendrickson, you know, Silvertown, you know. I mean, talk about kind man. He makes me seem like I'm the devil. He's so good. He's a wonderful man. He helped us with the roundtable. He's our past president of the National Silver Dollar Roundtable also. He's a life member. His son is a life member, Dave Hendrickson. His son, Tony Abel's a life member, and his son's a life member of the roundtable. So they've been big roundtable supporters through the years. But Leon, along with the Clark Samuels and the Continental-Illinois deal out of Chicago, that was a big deal out of Chicago. And when that came out, that pretty well just opened up markets of bags and bags and bags of dollars. You know, matter of fact, that broke at my show that founded the National Silver Dollar Roundtable in 1982 in Houston, Texas. Matter of fact, a lot of things happened in 1982 at that one show. It's amazing how many things happened at once. Like Mercury and Lionel with Mars, you know what I mean? So anyway, they brought those coins out and they busted those bags, and I couldn't get there fast enough. I mean, I got there fast enough to get a lot of stuff, but David Hall was over there, and Dean Davern was over there at the time, and Clark was selling it to everybody. You remember Hannes Tubman was over there at the time too. Hannes ran into a kind of bumping road here lately, so this, anyway, hope him the best. But anyway, I bought maybe 200-300 rows, you know, which is a lot, but he had a couple thousand rows. I didn't get all in here, but all the tone, not all. Take this with a grain of salt, but the majority of the coins that come out have this real three-color rainbow, green, red, and yellow and stuff, you know, came from that deal right there. Because all those canvas bags set all the time. The most beautiful coins, you know, and tone coins. They got tone coins that look beautiful. They're selling. They're saying. I keep using 81S as a common denominator. That if anybody's watching this video, or if they are watching this video, they'll understand we're talking about a silver dollar, a basic silver dollar. It's a good date, okay. But they would have this look to them, and if they're graded 65, they're worth about $165 right now, okay. If they got rainbow toning on it, or some toning on it, they might get $200. But somebody has magnificent, they trade for $2,000 and $3,000. People that really love it. It's kind of like buying a piece of art, you know, like a Mozart or a long thing, Michelangelo or something like that. Again, if you want to talk about me, I don't know why I am what I am. I just never understood it. I say things and they're just like little bits going out to people. They don't see the whole thing that's in here, and therefore they say, "Oh, I knew that." But you know, like I got photographs of famous people, you know, that I've got autographs. I've just got thousands of them, and people say, "Well, who is this? Who is this?" And I think, well, you know, they don't know who this is. This is Frazier. You know, he's on television.
Yeah, right.
One, you know, like the best show on television for like 10 years in a row, you know. And, oh, yeah, I saw that show once. I'm thinking, saw it once. I've saw it 1,000 times. Yeah, I keep thinking that people think, I think everybody's that way. I think it's just me. I think that everybody's that way. What they see in their head and what they think everybody knows what they think, but they don't.
Right.
Keep that in mind. They don't, okay? The universe doesn't go around anybody, much less everybody. Okay. I got a new one for all the scientists since they hadn't said it yet. I said it about a year ago because they came across about a year ago saying this. But when I grew up, we had an Earth and we had 7 or 8 planets. I lost count. They took one away a couple of years ago, Pluto or Jupiter or something. And we had 1 million stars. You progress a little bit from the 1 million stars to, they think there might be millions of stars. Fast forward another, probably about a decade before this changed, and they found we had billions of stars. They found another planet, or galaxy. Nobody liked that. People grew up, they didn't like that. They don't like change. So slowly but surely, it got through the years, and then they found more. Then they found millions of galaxies. The last one they just said they found billions of galaxies, and they're still looking for more. Well, I already know the answer to that. It's infinity. It never ends. I knew that 10 galaxies back or 20 galaxies back, you know. It's infinite, you know. Like 333 never ends, 666 never ends. It's infinite. That's what the universe is about. That's what God's all about if I want to get into God. I mean, it's infinite. It never ends. You know, so don't try and go there. Your head, you know, when you're trying to get into God's head, you just get knocked back out. He don't let you in there. But yeah, it's complex. But a lot of times you talk to people, and the best thing to do when you're talking to people is try and find their key points. You know what I mean? That they understand what you're talking about. You can talk to them about. Don't talk down to them. Talk parallel with them. Talk under them if you want to keep talking. You know, but just don't try and overshadow them. Don't try and, you know. But everybody's got good stories. You know. Yeah. When you find somebody's a jerk, just remember that he's a jerk. Don't talk to him again. Just keep on going. You don't have to call him a jerk.
Just avoid it.
Not important. Not important. I remember we had this saying. I can tell you about the airplane fight, this, that, and the other. I can't tell you that one. But we had this thing about that difference between people from New York up north and south, you know, and guys up in New York, they holler and scream, and, you know, if you get down the canal south, you holler at somebody, they just punch you in the mouth. That's a big difference between the north and the south. That didn't seem that we could beat them up, but they come down there and call you a jerk or this, that, and the other, you just hit them in the mouth, you know. But I always had those three stages. Is that when I grew up, I'll give you something about me. When I grew up, it was about the third grade, somebody didn't like me, and I went out of my way to get them to like me, you know. Girls are different. You can't get them to like you anyway. Anyway, they love you, but they won't like you. But you try it real hard to get them to like you. And the more you try and like you, it's kind of like, come here, and they're going, no. The more you do that, the more you can't get them to like me. And my mom says, Johnny, she called me Johnny, you're not always going to get everybody to like you. Yeah, that's probably true, but I don't like it. So, and it took me a long time to realize if someone didn't like you, just move on. You know, nothing you do about it, because, you know what's in their head either. You know, they may be right, they may be wrong, but it's no sense getting in competition with them. You know, but there is extreme competition in coins, so extreme competition. You know, I remember back in the '80s, everybody was walking at the shows, couldn't wait to get in the doors. It lasted for maybe not 20 years, but at least 17, 18 years. You know, can I have first shot when you get in? Say I went first shot for every coin was selling. Right. Commemorates are coin. I had the biggest commemorative set. You know, I had all the commemorations and BUs on it. I had pretty well everything at the time. I was really big at the time on different collectings. I was always a collector. Been that way all my life. When it comes to record albums, changing the subject, but you know, I told you the record business. Through the years, they gave me promos and everything, and of course I bought every record at cost at the time from the companies. And I bought records when I had my own record stores. I had my own record stores. They were called Big Bad John's. I hated that name, by the way. That lasted about 3 years, yeah. So the guy walked into and says, you Big Bad John? Says, you don't look very big. And we already had to trademark the logos and everything. We had 3 stores. I couldn't just change the name, you know. But it wasn't my idea. It's Alan's idea. He's my partner, Alan Scott. But anyway, I've got a little over 18,000 record albums that I've got wall to wall in another room, and they're more than probably 95% never been unsealed. And again, that's something that, you know, if you want to try and sell that, you can probably sell them on eBay at a time. But these are ones that like first generation, they have different serial numbers and stuff like that. They're worth more. Some records in there are worth $3,000 and $4,000. Some records are worth $5, $10. You know? They're probably worth $10 anyway. But I've always been a collector. I'll give you a baseball story. The thing about me in telling people stories, much less videoing a story, is that, yeah, I bet he did. They do that all the time, but, you know, I'm going to tell it exactly like it is. We used to do baseball cards back in the 50s, you know, buy Fleer and bubble gum and chew the bubble gum, get cards, and trade baseball cards all the time, okay? By 1960, when I had to go in the Air Force because I mentioned earlier. I had stacks. Okay, let's make the stacks smaller. Still big stacks. 50 cards minimum, 250 some. Mickey Mantle, Jackie Robinson, Joe Adcock, Whitey Ford. I had them all. Mint. Got back after 4 years of Air Force. My brother was the most popular kid in Muskogee, Oklahoma. He gave them all away to all his friends. They're all gone. I had nothing to do about it, but that would be worth more than money I've ever made combined, those cards, if I got those graded, you know. Yeah. But, you know, I just remember kicking his butt, you know, and this, that, and the other. I got mad, and that's about all there was to it. But in hindsight, I should have got a gun and shot myself and committed suicide. That was a lot of money to be. It wasn't then. Then the cards probably were $2 or $3 or something like that. But as of today, but you can't see the future anyway. But they're gone. I have none of those. I have no baseball cards. I remember when I played, people are not going to believe all this stuff. You know that, don't you? Okay, just keep in mind, they're not going to believe all this stuff. Okay? We're at getting Mickey Mantle's autograph. I showed you my book over there, didn't I? My encyclopedia. I wrote an encyclopedia. It took me 6 years in the making, and it weighs 10 pounds. It's 1,000 pages, 1,000,000 words of text, etc. It's not only an encyclopedia on silver dollars, it's an anthology also of the industry. There has different things like CCE, which is Certified Coin Exchange, and the PNGs in there, and etc. Different things, but also chapters on the Morgan dollar, the Peace dollar, the Trade dollar, the Ike dollar, all sort of things. And to add to that, I've been working the last 2 years, it's going to sound exaggeratory again, but about 4 hours a day, every night around midnight from 4. I've been going in and updating all the chapters because a lot of things have changed in 25 years. I have new articles, new people, new subjects, and this one will be an ebook. It'll be available on Amazon.com, eBay Books, Borders Books, Barnes & Nobles, all those. And it'll be a huge one. They have a way to send it to you without putting it on they can't email it to you, obviously. And this book, I don't know what we're going to sell it for at this point in time, but it'll be nominal because it's not even to make a profit. But that book itself will be twice the size as the first book. Twice the size. Anyway, Mickey Mouse signed that too. So he's at the Sands Hotel. They had Russell Martin there, and his autograph was $500. Mickey Mouse was $65. Well, let me think about that. I like baseball. So anyway, I've got these things. You know, you've seen. I've got these. I got a Hall of Fame baseball. It's got all these Hall of Famers on it that I want him to sign. I got a Mickey Mantle baseball. I want him to sign. I got a 500 home run baseball. I want him to sign. I had a baseball bat. I want him to sign. I have a Hall of Fame baseball bat. I want to sign. My encyclopedia got 7 or 8 items. He stops everything. Closes my encyclopedia. I got a lot of autographs. Anyway, he closes the encyclopedia and he slides everything to me. He looks up and says, "He told me I this. He says, "You know why I know you got my first home run ball?" And Bill Russell was there. Randy Pollock was the guy. Randy Pollock. Okay, was putting on the show. And anyway, so I says, he says, "But I don't know about everybody that said they were there when I hit my home runs and mirrors and this and that and the other. All that's on ESPN. I don't know any story when people tell me, but you made me feel good today. You told me a story I know is true." And I felt good. Yeah. I felt good. I walked down and said, "I made Mickey Mantle happy." And then Marlene kissed him and he forgot all about me. Matter of fact, she's in a photograph in here somewhere that shows her kissing him. I'm not talking about kissing on the cheek. He just kissed my wife right on the mouth. I had never done that yet.
You must have been very patient.
Yeah. But because I do like stuff like that. I'm not. I don't know. When I first got to Las Vegas, I sat down there on the bench there and looked at all these signs, saw Dean Barton and stuff, and I thought they were movies. Really, I was so much Gomer Pyle at the time, I didn't know what was going on. And then I didn't realize that Dean Barton's playing there, and Frank Sinatra's playing here, and this, that, and the other. So you move forward to all that, and after a while, you're meeting everybody, and they're just people. Few of them are really egomaniacs, but most of them are just people. They're just like me and you. They're pretty nice to you, or at least they appear to be, and everything like that. And I got to meet, like I said earlier, a lot of them. And I know the date is June 2nd, 1969 in my head. I'm positive of the date, but every time I look at the internet, it says it's August something. I know it wasn't August, no, it was June 6th. And I think I've got a thing down there, opening day from Elvis at the time. But anyway, I got to go backstage 3 times with him at that. But went to that show there, and that's where I got this autographed album of Elvis there that first time. But boy, those are great experiences at the time. But he's a good old boy. Peanut butter and banana, you know, what can I say?
Good old boy from Memphis.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was trying to say, I get a lot of autographs. That my encyclopedia, I took it around with me to coin shows where they had autograph people. I'd pay for autographs, or I'd buy autographs. I go down to Texas Rangers. I've got a half-season ticket there for the last decade or so. I get all the Rangers to sign. I got the Dallas Cowboys signed. I've got probably 5,000 or 6,000 autographs in the back of my encyclopedia. Yeah. So I like that. I quit taking it anymore. I don't want to lose it, though. As a matter of fact, I had Barbara Wingo insure that for just in case. She said, how often do you take it out? I said, not very often. So she insured it. I better take it off. Don't take it out anymore.
Talk about VAM silver dollars.
And then if you want to talk about VAMs, Leroy Van Allen, God bless him. He did a great job. That's before me, that's for sure. But he's done a great job with the VAMs, and the VAMs are very popular. They're graded by all the services, and there's some VAMs are traded for very big dollars. But it's also a very thin market. You got to be careful. I want to warn anybody that is watching this to not get head over heels on VAMs unless you love it. Do not do it as an investment because it will not work out very well. But Jeff Oxman's a great VAM person, you know. C. Logan McKechnie's a great VAM person. There's other VAM people. Again, it's a smaller market, but it's a very viable market. It's a lot of information on it. But Leroy Van Allen's VAMs and More book, it's a great book to buy, that's for sure.
What was your biggest silver dollar deal?
Oh, biggest silver dollar deal? I'm not sure how to say that. I mean, back when I was doing, like I mentioned earlier, at the show, some of my biggest dollar deals were just out of the show. Shipped 20, 30 bags out of a show. Those were big deals at the time. The $1 million coin was not a silver dollar. Silver dollar collection, you know, we did that earlier too.
What's the biggest check you've ever taken that bounced?
Oh yeah, it's this guy. I'm not gonna mention his name, so it doesn't matter. I sold him $6 million worth of coins, and 4.5 made it. I got 3 $500,000 checks in my little showcase in there for remember, don't take checks. Yeah. So that's $1.5 million in the other room. I'll sell it to you for because they're probably worth $1,000. You wouldn't buy them. You couldn't do it. You have to throw them away.
And how did that make you feel?
Pretty bad. I had enough money to cover it, but you don't lose $1.5 million. I don't care who you are, and be happy about it. It hurt quite a bit. It was a bad time too, because some other things were falling. The market was crashing at the same time. It's kind of like a sinkhole in Florida, you know, just everything was going at once. You know what I mean? Or a tornado in Oklahoma. You know, all of a sudden you got this and everything's happening. Next day you come home, you can't even get an insurance check out of State Farm or Allstate or all the companies. You know. Better be careful I do that. I can get liable on that one. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's very, very bad. I've had, again, I have one things I've done before. I hate to say it here, but it's probably a good policy. I think it's a good policy. Again, going back to the economic side factor, I'll have guys that have run into problems that owe me like 20 grand, and I just tell them, give me $21,000 checks. I'm putting them in 1 month for 20 months and trying to help them out. Well, I have a motive for that. I'm trying to get the first $1,000 if nothing else. So I do have a motive. And invariably, I guess I did that maybe 15 times through the years, and 5 didn't make it at all. 10 make it about 2/3 of the way through, and about 5 made it all the way through. But it helped them. But if you say you got to have your $20,000 now, you're not going to get anything. Yeah. So if you get $21,000 checks, but a lot of times if someone owed me 20 grand, I like to give them $4,000 or $5,000 checks or something like that. But it seems to work. And the guys that it worked with, it helped them out, and they're still in business. And the other guys got out of the business. So that's called first loss theory, by the way. Not the first loss theory. First loss theory is the one I told you earlier. You know, take a loss on a coin. Mm-hmm. You forget that big story I told you about. There's a lot of times a market shift. When I'm making the markets back in the day, I'll be paying $40 for dollars, and then all of a sudden someone else is paying $40. I pay 41. Mm-hmm. You know. And then vice versa. When things worked, it worked. And when it didn't work, it didn't work. And then I'd take the markets go up and down like sliding scale. But a lot of times when coins just crashed, you know, I would take coins I paid $100 for and I'd sell them for $80. And I'd like I have a couple of hundred of them. Well, I take that $80 and buy something else at the new market prices and sell it for $100. I got my money back within 30 days. So it's called first loss theory. Everybody should learn how to do that.
And in conclusion, John Highfill, what would you like to say?
In conclusion, I don't know. I don't know where to start. I kind of gave it all out there. People are either going to take this and get a lot out of it, or people are just going to get tired of it and just not buy it or throw it away. I don't, it's nothing I can do. I can't control that. I appreciate your invitation to have me do this video. And in all modesty, I just think that I'm not special. And everybody's going to say, yeah, he says that, but it's not. I'm not special. I am who I am. I'm nothing more, nothing less, And I'm glad to have done what I've done. I've had a lot of pitfalls. I've had a lot of problems. I had a medical problem that lasted for 4 months. About it cost me back in '86. That wasn't good. But all in all, I'm kind of glad where I'm at right now. And I guess I had a thing to where when you're married more than once and you have children with multiple people, you have this guilt when you're young. And when you're older, I'm really glad that happened. Because I got kids, and they got lives. I got grandkids, they got lives. They're all happy. They wouldn't be here, wasn't it, the mistakes I made when I was young. I don't care how you are. You're not very smart when you're young. You're not very wise when you're young. Yeah. I remember when I was 21, I waited all day long to feel like a man. It didn't happen. Yeah. I remember when I was 30, it didn't happen, I don't think, so it took a while. But, yeah. It takes a good conscience and good things for other people to make you the person that you are.
John, I really appreciate the time you've spent with me, and I know viewers will be very interested in your life and your stories. I'm David Lisot. It's June 1st, 2016. I'm here with John Highfill. See you at the next one. Just want to say, John Highfill is one of the greatest dudes I've ever talked to and interviewed, and I'm proud to have him as my friend.
Great guy, period. I'm not just saying that, great guy. We talked in Singapore for like 2 hours straight without stopping and no interruptions. We understood everything that each one of us said. Great guy.
Talked about
buy
the universe.
Buy all of his CDs. This is a plug.
Nothing about coins. It was all about the universe.
Oh, no coins, huh?
It was cool stuff. Wow.